We like to put good storytellers into St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, too. That was great. And I think this next guy has a few stories to tell as well. And when it comes to Halls of Fame and sports journalism respect, Steve Porter, our next inductee and recipient of the Greg Marisek Memorial Award, is the king. And we might be late to the party with his honor tonight. Triad High School and SIU Edwardsville grad. And I want to talk about this photo a little bit. This photo is from, 72? 1972? On the left is Dwayne Stats. We're at SIU Edwardsville's baseball field. Dwayne Stats is now the lead play-by-play broadcaster for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's me donning my stag hat. I thought that was cool, obviously, at the time. And right next to me is Al Barnes, who is a longtime sports information director at SIU Edwardsville. And there is Steve Porter learning how to write sports copy for the Daily Alestle, the student newspaper at SIU Edwardsville. One of my favorite photos of all time. Do you know who took that photo?
Charlie Cox took it. It is, you notice there, Tom, I had a little bit more.
It's one of our favorite ones.
I had a little bit more hair back then in that photo.
Steve has already been enshrined in the Illinois Basketball Coaches, Amateur Softball, Alton City Golf, and Alton High School Athletics Halls of Fame. He's been recognized with awards from American Legion Baseball and the Amateur Softball Association. He's been a highly respected sports journalist during his 45 years of service to the Alton Telegraph, the Collinsville Herald, and the Alton Advantage. And he's a highly respected, he told me to say that, member of our St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame committee. Now please welcome into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame my friend and everybody's friend, Steve Porter. We need your music.
You know,
you're doing music.
I wasn't sure how this chair would be compared to that chair.
Yeah, you had to switch chairs.
But, you know, they're both the same.
Very gracefully done.
Tom, if I could start out by finishing up the story that Tom Pyle started. Tom said that we were roughies one night, which was true, and we ran into Isaac Curtis, the receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, which was true. But he left out the rest of the story. The way I remember it is I left early, and Tom stayed all night. I don't know what he did, but the next morning I read in the paper, Rusty's closed forever. I wonder why.
Tom closed it down.
I guess so. I don't know.
You got some thank yous you'd like to give out?
Pardon me, Tom?
Thank yous?
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank yous.
I would have a couple of tables over here of friends and family. I'd like to, first of all, say a shout-out to my wife, Cheryl, for putting up with me for all these years.
Way to go, Cheryl.
And my son, Corey, his wife, Kim, and their daughter, Estelle, my granddaughter, who's 4 months old, here tonight. She's probably the youngest person in the house. Bless you all. And to all the friends and family that are here tonight, thank you very much.
So you're getting the Greg Marisek Award tonight. Greg, of course, the founder of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you?
Means a lot. Greg, I worked with Greg back in the day. He was the editor of the journals when I worked the Telegraph, and he also, I believe, owned K-Fans Radio. And one year I got an award from him in 1989 for Best Story or something like that, and met him and had a nice conversation, and eventually he invited me to join the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame committee, and it's been wonderful being on there for 5 years. Greg knew everybody, and everybody knew him. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2020, and decided to give an award in his honor. And last year, Rick Hummel, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, won it, and I'm very fortunate to get that award this year. I very appreciate it very much.
You told me that you were lucky that you could cover high school on a Friday night, college on a Saturday, and pro sports on a Sunday. And
I thought I had the best job in the area for covering sports at the Alton Telegraph. On Friday night, I could go out, cover a high school football game or high school basketball game. On Saturday, I could go to the University of Illinois, cover a football game or basketball game, or go to SIU Edwardsville and cover a basketball game. And then on Sunday, I might have the possibility of covering the baseball Cardinals or the football Cardinals or the Rams. So within 3 days or 72 hours, I could cover high school, college, and pro sport. And it really made you appreciate it all, how much you could enjoy the high school level, the college level, and the pro level.
So who were the top influencers in your career? And you can leave me out of it.
Well, you were right there, Tom. I don't know if I put you number one, but you were right there. In fact, Tom and I go back to SIU Edwardsville in the 70s. That's the 1970s, not the 1870s for all you youngsters out there. I have people like Paul Levo, who was official, basketball official, but wrote a column for the Troy paper. He was very influential. A couple of coaches named Harold Schwer and Rich Mason. And then at SIU, professors Bill Ward and Harry Thiel. And then I read as much as I could, tried to be as fair and accurate and as responsible as I could. And the one thing I try to do as much as anybody was listen, because listening is a lost art these days.
Absolutely.
And my dad told me, he always told me, he said, you don't learn anything by talking. You learn by listening.
That's right. And it's one of the things I teach in some of my classes, too. It's not all about what you say, it's what you hear sometimes and how you interpret it. This guy is a journalist in the truest sense of the word, and those are hard to find these days. It's my little commentary on things. Where do you think we are in the journalism business right now?
Journalism is not in a good place right now. A lot of papers are cutting people. There's a lot of corporate takeover, so to speak, of media. And it's not like the old days where you had family-owned newspapers and every town had its own newspaper or radio guy. And you worked with people like that in broadcasting, like Joe May. And
I knew his name would come up at some.
Oh, yeah. There's not the characters in sports media there used to be.
And Joe was definitely one of those.
Joe was definitely one of those.
Absolutely.
Some guys asked me, he said, how do you refer to yourself? And I always like to say a character with character.
There you go. Let's get you a plaque.
Steve Porter, our